Hey y'all, and welcome back to Shawna Ray Cooking and Cleaning for Busy's Moms. Today's video is going to be a awesome budget-friendly what's for dinner. I'm going to be sharing with you guys 3 awesome recipes that I cooked this week for my son and myself. This video is in collaboration with Kim over at Kim's Farmhouse Life. I love her channel and I've been watching it for a long time now. She does what's for dinners every single week and she has some awesome budget-friendly recipes. She also does cleaning videos here and there as well over on her channel. So when you're done watching my What's for Dinner, make sure you head on over to her channel and watch hers because you're not going to want to miss it. She has awesome ideas and I can't wait to watch what she has prepared for this week. If you are coming over from Kim's channel, hello, my name is Shawna. I have a family of 3. It's myself, my husband, and my 2-year-old son, Charlie. My husband is doing intermittent fasting and keto though, so he does not eat dinner with us every night of the week, so it's usually just me and my son, Charlie, that I'm feeding in the evenings. Therefore, there's usually quite a lot of leftovers, so I don't cook dinner every single night. I usually cook dinner about 3 times a week. So I'm going to be sharing with you guys the 3 recipes that I cooked this week, and trust me, they're amazing. You're not going to want to miss them. And since becoming a mom, it literally is like I found my purpose.
For the first recipe today, we are going to be making this crock pot creamy Italian chicken pasta. For this recipe, you're going to need about a pound of chicken. I use chicken thighs, about a pound of some sort of pasta. You're going to need some minced garlic, some tomato sauce. You're also going to need cream cheese, bay leaves, Italian seasoning, and salt and pepper. First off, you're going to start by just placing your chicken in the bottom of the crock pot. You are then going to want to go ahead and pour your 25 ounces of tomato sauce over the chicken. You can also use marinara sauce if you prefer. We don't like the chunks in marinara, so I just went ahead and just used plain tomato sauce, and then I'm just going to add a little bit extra of the Italian seasoning to make it a little bit more marinara-y. I am going to go ahead and add a little bit of garlic powder to this, as well as some Italian seasoning. As I mentioned, since I'm just using tomato sauce, I added the garlic powder and the Italian seasoning to make it more marinara-y. And then I'm going to add some salt and pepper as well. And then I'm going to go ahead and add just a tiny bit of some minced garlic in there. And then I'm also going to cut the cream cheese up. The recipe calls for 12 ounces of cream cheese, but since cream cheese comes in 8-ounce blocks, I just went ahead and put 16 ounces in because I didn't want to have just 4 ounces of leftover cream cheese that I wouldn't use. So I went ahead and put 16 ounces in mine, and it turned out really well. And then I'm going to go ahead and throw in 2 bay leaves. Then you're just going to want to cover it and cook it on high for 3 to 4 hours until the chicken is done and tender and shreds easily. Next, you are going to go ahead and remove the chicken and shred it. Now you can either do this with 2 forks on like a plate or something and just shred it manually. I like to throw chicken into my KitchenAid mixer though to shred it. It's just a easy way to shred a whole lot of chicken all at once, and I find it a lot easier than using a fork to shred it. When I was pulling the chicken out, I also went ahead and removed the bay leaves. I don't know if you saw that there, but you want to make sure and take the bay leaves out before you move on. After the chicken's shredded, I'm going to go ahead and throw that back in the crock pot and leave that just on the warm setting for a few more minutes while I get the pasta ready. And I'm just going to cook my pasta per the instructions on the box until it's done. Once it's done, you're just going to go ahead and dump it into the crock pot with everything else and give it a good mix, and then you are ready to serve it up. This meal was really good. We all really enjoyed it, especially my son Charlie. He gobbled this up and had seconds.
Is it yummy? Yummy.
Next up is this cast iron pizza. This was so good. I'm just gonna start off with some of this Jiffy pizza crust mix. I did not make my own pizza crust mix. If you wanted to, you could totally look one up online and make your own pizza dough. I am lazy though, and I wanted something cheap, and this Jiffy box of pizza dough is literally 60 cents, which is so good. The jar of tomato sauce I'm going to use was $1. The pizza crust was 60 cents. And then you could totally use leftover toppings, which is what I did. We had mozzarella cheese left over. I did buy some pepperonis, but then you could also use like hamburger meat that you had left over, chicken that was left over, whatever veggies you wanted that was left over, anything. But I went ahead and mixed the dough per the instructions on the box, and it did have it tell me to let it sit for 5 minutes to let it rise. And then while it was doing that, I preheated my oven to 500 degrees. And now I'm going to prep my cast iron skillet with some olive oil. I'm just going to rub this all around with a paper towel to make sure the entire cast iron skillet is coated thoroughly. And I'm doing this all while the dough is rising. Once the dough had sat for 5 minutes, I went ahead and needed to knead it. So I just put some flour on my surface, and I took the dough and I went ahead and kneaded it. I had to add a lot more flour because it was really sticky still, but I finally got it to where I could knead it easily without getting it all over my fingers. Once I got the dough kneaded a few times, I took it and transferred it to my oiled cast iron skillet, and I just used my fingers with some more flour, and then I actually ended up putting a little bit of oil on them to be able to spread the dough out in the pan. I did a pretty thin layer on the bottom, and then around the edges where like the crust was going to be, I made it a little bit thicker. Once that was done, I went ahead and put the dough in the oven, and I let this cook by itself with no toppings on it for about 2 to 3 minutes. I think I left mine in there for about 3 minutes just so the dough could start to get crispy before you put the toppings on. Then I took it out and I went ahead and put some pizza sauce on it. Of course, you can put as much or as little of this as you want. And then I went ahead and put my toppings, which for me was just some mozzarella cheese and some pepperonis. We had the mozzarella cheese left over, and then I did buy the pepperonis. But as I mentioned, this meal is super, super cheap. You can make it and customize it to whatever you have laying around your house that is left over. So the crust itself was 60 cents. And then it just has water included. And then the pizza sauce jar, I believe, was under $1. And then, of course, the mozzarella cheese and the pepperonis. Like I said, the mozzarella was left over in my house, and the pepperonis, I believe, cost a couple dollars. But like I said, you don't have to buy those. You could totally just use like leftover hamburger meat, leftover chicken, leftover veggies, whatever you have on hand. Or if you want to just make it just a cheese pizza, and you don't have to use mozzarella, use whatever cheese you have laying around the house to make this super budget friendly. Once I got the toppings on, I put it back in the oven and let it cook for about 12 to 15 minutes, just watching it until the cheese was all brown and bubbly. And as you can tell, can you guys see those bubbles on that cheese? Oh, it's turned out so good. It had the perfect crispy crust, but then like the gooey cheese, and it was just so good. Probably one of the best pizzas I've ever had. Takeout, frozen, everything. It was a really, really good pizza. I did go ahead and just take a spatula and kind of loosen it from the cast iron, and then I transferred it to just a pizza pan so that I could cut it easier, just because I didn't want to scratch up my cast iron skillet by trying to cut it in the skillet. This was probably my favorite meal that I made this week, and my son and I ate this for dinner, and then we also both took it for leftovers for lunch the next day. So it was 2 meals for each of us, which is awesome for costing less than $5. Really good deal. Eat it. I think it's okay. Take a bite. Is it good? The last meal I made this week was this sheet pan balsamic chicken with potatoes and carrots. For this recipe, you're gonna need about 4 boneless, skinless chicken breasts, some carrots, some extra virgin olive oil, some balsamic vinaigrette, some honey, and some Parmesan cheese, and of course some potatoes. And then for spices, I'm gonna use garlic powder, basil, thyme, and salt and pepper. So first thing I'm going to do is preheat my oven to 400 degrees, and then I'm going to prep my veggies. So first off, I'm going to peel and cut up my carrots into like little itty bitty carrot sticks, about 2-inch pieces is what the recipe said. And then I'm going to go ahead and chop up my gold potatoes as well into about 1-inch pieces. Once the veggies are prepped, I'm going to take a foil-lined baking sheet and I'm going to go ahead and arrange everything on the pan. So I'm going to take my chicken and put it in the middle, and then I'm going to put some carrots on one side and some potatoes on the other side. Now I did prep too many veggies, and so I ended up having to get another sheet and doing some veggies on that sheet as well. So basically what I ended up doing was doing about half of the potatoes and half of the carrots on this sheet, and then I put the other half on another foil-lined baking sheet. So for me, this actually took 2 baking sheets, but it's supposed to be a 1-sheet recipe. So next what I did is I took the balsamic vinegar and the honey and I brought that to a boil in a medium saucepan. I then cooked it for about 5 minutes until it was reduced by half. While that was cooking, I went ahead and took my olive oil and I drizzled that all over the potatoes, chicken, and carrots. And then I kind of smeared the oil into the chicken. And then I went ahead and seasoned it with salt and pepper, garlic powder, basil, and thyme. I also last minute decided to go ahead and add in some onion powder as well, just because I wanted a little bit of onion flavor on here. Once the balsamic vinegar and honey mixture had finished, I went ahead and took that and drizzled it over the chicken. And then I took the Parmesan cheese and I went ahead and sprinkled that all over everything before putting it into the oven and baking it for 20 to 25 minutes until the chicken was cooked through and the potatoes and carrots were tender. Once it was done cooking, I went ahead and took some of the leftover balsamic and honey mixture and I sprinkled that over the chicken and the carrots. And that was it. This meal would be perfect for a budget-friendly meal, especially like when you're having guests or something. If you want to look a little bit fancier but still stay on a budget, this is a great meal for you guys. I hope you guys enjoy it. If you use any of these recipes, make sure you tag me over on Instagram at Shawna Videos.
I hope you guys enjoyed those recipes. If you did, leave me a comment in the description down below which one was your favorite and which one you think you might actually try out. And then don't forget to head over to Kim's channel and check out her What's for Dinner. Her video and her channel will be linked in my description box down below, so make sure you check them out. We'll see you guys next time. Bye, y'all.